Well, hello there. My name is Keith, and today we're going to go on a great adventure. And we're not going to go on this adventure alone because one of my best friends is going to join us today. And I think you guys will like him too. He should be here any minute now. Hey! Well, hey there. Hey, Mr. Pick, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
Well, great. Well, boys and girls, this sitting next to me is my very own acoustic guitar. And you guys probably have one pretty similar to this sitting right in front of you. So it looks kind of hard to play, and we probably don't know how to play it very well right now, but that's okay, because we're going to go through the DVD today and figure out how to play a little bit more of this. So, like I said, Mr. Pick here, he's a beginner, probably just like yourself, and he's going to have some of the same questions and concerns that you may have. So it's going to be very important to watch Mr. Pick and listen to him, because we'll probably figure out things through his questions. So we're going to learn the parts of the guitar, how to hold your guitar, chords and strumming patterns, all sorts of things. What?
What about the songs?
Oh yeah, that's right. Mr. Pick told me we're also going to learn how to play a few songs, which I'm excited about. I'm sure you guys are too. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started on the parts of the guitar. Okay, let's talk about all the parts of the guitar. Now, there aren't that many parts, but they are very important because we need to know what each part is named so that when I talk about it, you guys will know exactly what I mean. Now, the parts of the guitar are actually kind of like the parts of you and me.
What do you mean?
Oh, well, what I mean is that some of the guitar parts have some of the same names as parts that we have, like the body and the neck and the head. And we all have, well, except our friend Mr. Pick, he doesn't have a neck, but we all have a neck and a body and a head. So his is all kind of combined into one. But now let's look at this. This big shape over here, this big old thing, is the body of the guitar. Kind of like our big thing is our body. So that's pretty easy to remember. And then secondly, this little strip right here, this thing, it's called the bridge. And it holds all the strings. So it's very important. Now when you go along the strings here, there should be 6 strings, and it leads over to this hole. And it's a big circle. What do you think you call this one, Mr. Pick?
I don't know this.
Well, it's actually called a sound hole. So this is where the sound vibrates inside the body and then shoots out of the sound hole. And that's how we can hear the guitar. So we're going to go up the strings a little bit more, and we get to this long piece of wood. And we talked about this earlier as being what?
The neck.
The neck, right, Mr. Pick? Good job. That's the neck. And it goes all the way down up until the top of up until the head. Now, all the way down, there's these little lines going up and down, up and down, up and down, all the way down. Now, what do we call those things? Do you know? Well, probably not. These are called frets. And when we touch a fret in a different location, it makes a different noise. And we'll learn about that a little bit later. But if we didn't have all these lines, we wouldn't be able to play different notes on the guitar and hear different sounds. So the frets are very important too. Now we go all the way down, all the way up until we get to this top part, which was, do you remember, Mr. Pick?
The head?
That's right. It's the head. So on the head, there's 6 of these things, and the strings are wound all around those things. And then you've got these out at the outside. See all these things? These all turn. When you do this, they can turn around and either tighten the string or loosen the string to give a different sound. And we'll learn about these later too, but they're called tuning keys. That's right, tuning keys. So when you turn these tuning keys, it'll tighten up the string and make it higher. And if you loosen it, it'll make the note lower. And if you're going to tune your guitar, because it gets out of tune pretty regularly, if you're going to tune it, you're going to need to know how to twist them so that they get in the right tune. So we'll talk about that in our tuning lesson. So those are the major parts of the guitar, and you guys did a great job. Let's review it one more time just so that we're sure about it. Now this time I'm just going to point, and you're going to yell out the answer. That's right, it's the body. Good job, that's the bridge. Those are the strings, correct. The sound hole, right. That's the neck, correct. Good job. Those are the frets. Excellent. Those are the tuning keys. Great job. That's excellent. You guys are pros already. Well, you guys I think are ready for the next lesson. So let's get to lesson number 2, which is how to hold the guitar correctly. So I'll see you guys there. All right, now it's going to be time to learn how to hold your guitar. And the first thing you're going to need to know is that you want to get a good, comfortable chair, one without armrests, because they'll get in the way if you're holding your guitar, like a stool or something. Then the next thing you're going to need to know is when you pick up your guitar, you want to line up this little curve right here with your right leg, and you set it right on there, just like that. So you've got your curve right here sitting on your leg, and you want to take your left arm right here and put it over the neck, the top of the neck. So remember, this is the neck, so we want to put it right here. Looking from my perspective, your left hand right here should be on this side of the guitar. Now you're going to want to have the back of the body, this part right here, touching your stomach. And you've got your right arm around the body, ready to play right over the sound hole. Your left arm, remember, is over the neck, and the back of the body is touching your stomach. Great, guys. How you doing, Mr. Pick?
I'm doing real good.
Well, great. All right. Now let's move back to our left hand, which is at the top of the neck. Now, this is probably going to be the trickiest part, but with a lot of practice, it will feel a lot more comfortable. Now what we do is we take our thumb right here and we put it right on the back of the neck like that. And then we take our other fingers and we wrap it around and place it on the first 3 frets, right in between all these. And we'll learn how to make our fingers do different positions and make what we call chords in a few more lessons. We'll talk about that. But for right now, We just want to get this position where we're wrapping it around, and inside our fingers here, we're not touching any of the other strings except for one. It's real easy to want to push down on all the strings like that. But you want to make a little gap of air like this, just so that you're only touching one string. So practice that. And it's going to be a little tough, but through practice, your hand may get kind of hurt and get some cramps in it. But over the course of some time, it'll feel more natural. So give that a try. And now your fingers come around and they wrap around the guitar and they leave that space right in between the guitar, like that. It's not like this, not pressing a lot of strings, but they have that gap like that. And this is really important when we learn chords. So give it a try and try to wrap it around and make sure that you're not touching any other strings. Great. All right, so now let's do a little review. And to help us on our review, I'm going to ask Mr. Pick here if he'll tell me what to do, and I'll see if he's right. All right, go ahead, Mr. Pick. Tell me what to do first.
Put the curve on your leg.
Well, that's exactly right. The first thing I need to do is take this curve, the inner curve, and put it on my leg. That's perfect. What's second?
Left arm over the neck.
That's right. I'll take my left arm and put it right over the neck, the top of the neck. What's the third thing?
Right arm on top.
Right. Take my right arm, rest it over the top, and then the last thing I need to do,
Back of the body on stomach.
put the back of the body against my stomach.
Your hand around the strings.
You're right, Mr. Pick. I almost forgot. We need to wrap our hands around the strings so that none of them touch underneath. That's great. Good job, guys. Practice that up a little bit. And get ready for our next section. Well, I bet you guys sure are ready to make some noise. Well, we're almost there. But first, we need to learn how to strum. Now, what I got here in my pocket is one of these.
That looks like me.
Hey, you're right. You know why this looks like you? Is because it's called a pick. And it's just like Mr. Pick here, because he's a pick too. And we use this pick to go up and down on the strings and touch the strings in a way that makes noise. Goes through the body and comes out the sound hole, and it sounds like pretty music if we play it right. So what we do, we're going to have to learn how to hold this pick, because it's important. If we hold it wrong, it's going to be hard to make noise. So I want you to make sure, look at this, and look how I do it. Make sure you're holding your pick right too. So let's check it out. Now take a pick and put it in your thumb and your first finger, just like I'm doing, and hold it there and try to model it just like what I'm doing. So now this is the angle that you're going to see your pick, and it should be just like this. So practice on your own with your own pick and try to hold it just like I'm doing. All right, great. Now I want you to hold your guitar like we practiced in our last section. And hold your pick just like we just learned and now we're professionals at. And you hold your arm around the body comfortably, resting it on the back. And I want you to take your pick and lightly, you're going to strum down all the strings. And I want you to do it just lightly at first to get the hang of it. It's easy to get stopped like that on all the strings. But to make one continuous strum, you want to just lightly brush over each one. So let me show you how to do it first, and then you try. Now you notice that when I'm strumming, I'm not moving my whole arm down the guitar like this. I'm using my wrist. Just like this. Just to lightly go over it. And you want to do that. You don't want to swing your arm a lot. You just want to make sure your arm stays right here and your wrist moves all the way down the strings. Okay, great, boys and girls. Now that we have the strum down, let's try to pick each individual string just once. Now, we're going to do this almost like we just did the strum, except we're not going to go all the way down. We're just going to stop at 1. So, get your pick ready, just like this. Good. Okay. Now, get your body comfortable, and we're going to take just the top string, which is the biggest, fattest string. We're going to take it, we're going to rest our pick on top, and play it, and stop at the next string. Let your pick just stop right there, so it's resting on the next string. Let's take a look at that from our perspective. Excellent. Now let's try the next one. Wonderful. Let's hit the third one. Now the fourth. Okay, now the fifth. Now the sixth. Well, excellent job, guys.
Making noises is fun.
Right, it's fun when we make noise with our guitar. And we're going to do a lot more of that coming up soon. But what we want to really remember is that we don't want the guitar to sound real harsh and rattly when we play like that. If it's sounding like that for you, you want to loosen up your hold on the pick. Just hold it a little bit looser and it'll sound a lot better. And if it's sounding a little too soft, we want to remember just maybe tighten up just on the pick a little bit so you'll get a nice even sound. And you'll get better at this with time. But great job overall, guys, and we'll see you on the next lesson, which is tuning. All right, guys. You guys are doing a great job. Excellent work. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is a very important skill to learn when you play guitar, because you can't even play if you don't know how to do this. It's called tuning your guitar. And without your guitar in tune, things you play are going to sound wrong, even if you play them exactly how you should. So you see why it's so important. Now there's 3 major ways to tune your guitar.
What are the ways?
Well, I'll tell you. One is to use a tuner. Now this is probably the easiest method, and it's the one that we're going to try to learn first. The second way is to hear the notes and match up the notes. You can hear the notes on a piano or some other instrument that has the correct notes. And the third way is called relative tuning. And now this is kind of a difficult way, but it is a way to do it, and we'll cover it. So let's start out by looking at how to do it with a tuner. Now what I've got in my hands is my very own tuner. And they come in a bunch of different sizes and shapes, but really they're all the same thing. They all help you tune your guitar. Now, if you have one at home, go ahead and follow me on how to tune your guitar, and we'll go over that really soon. But if you don't, you may think about getting a tuner pretty soon so that it's easy to tune your guitar. And if not, we'll go over a couple methods that don't involve using a tuner. And you can do it that way too. But like we said, it's pretty easy with these tuners. So let's take a look at how to tune your guitar with this tuner. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is turn your guitar tuner on. And usually they'll have a switch on the outside, and mine is right here. So what I do is click it on. Now you can see that it's on because the light comes on. So the next thing I want to do is just kind of set it in a comfortable position. I'll put it in my lap. Now I'm in a comfortable position where I can pluck a string and I can see the colors flashing and see where my guitar is and how out of tune it is and what I need to do to get it in tune. When these lights are in this lower position here, that means that the string is what we call flat, which means it is lower than the pitch should be. When it is above, that means it's called sharp, and it means that the string is higher than it should be. Alright guys, well, looks like we're all set and ready to start tuning. You ready, Mr. Pick?
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Well, great. I'm ready too. Let's start with the very top string up here, and we're going to remember how we picked earlier in the video. We're going to do the same thing, but we're only going to pick one string at a time. So let's start with the top string. Ooh yeah, see, I'm out of tune. The lights are lighting up on this lower end, which means that I'm flat, and I must raise my note up a little bit.
And how do you raise the note?
Well, that's a good question, Mr. Pick, and I'll show you. It involves using these things right here. And you remember what those are called?
Are they tuning keys?
That's correct. They're the tuning keys. And they're called tuning keys because they help us tune. So, the first string right here, the one that we're playing, we'll follow that down all the way down to this tuning key. So, this is the one that we're going to have to turn in order to make it higher. So, let's check out how to do that. And we'll look from my point of view. Okay, so we want to turn the tuning key this way, which is counterclockwise. The clock goes around like this, so we turn it this way to make it tighter. And watch how the light, when I do this, when I start turning, the light will move up. See? It's going all the way up. But we only want to stop at the very middle point. So we went a little too high. We're going to come back down a little bit. Watch how it lights up yellow when we get it good. And it might go a little bit under again, and you want to just turn it the same way until you got it right in the middle. So that one's all good now. Let's try our second string. Now this one's lighting up all the way at the end. That means that it's too sharp. So which way do we turn it? We turn it clockwise and we bring it down until we see the yellow. Keep going slowly, very slowly until you get all the way down there. And it can waver a little bit back and forth, but that's okay. There you go, good. Now we'll go for the third string. The third string is all the way at the end right here. We're a little bit flat, so we want to sharpen it up right until we get right there. And if you go over, just turn the opposite way and get it back down to the yellow. Down. Perfect. Now this one's pretty good. We'll just turn it a little bit back down until it gets to the yellow. We'll try our 5th string, which is right here. This one's pretty good too. Ooh, our 6th string sounds like it's way out of tune. Keep turning it until we get all the way to the yellow. Perfect. So now we should be all tuned and ready to play. Now let's look at the second method of tuning, which is hearing a note played on another instrument and then tuning to where you can hear it on your guitar as well. So let's check that one out. So let's hear the first note, which is E, and E is going to be your top string. Now if you have a piano or a keyboard, here is E on a keyboard lit up. So you play that note and it sounds like this. There it is. So we take that sound and we listen and make sure it sounds like that on our guitar. So here it is again. Okay, so that's a little bit flat. So we'll turn it counterclockwise, just like this. And we'll keep playing the note until we hear it clearly. And there you go. That's it. So the next note is going to be A. And we'll hit A on the keyboard and it's right here. There it is. So we'll hit A. That's a little tiny bit sharp. So we'll turn it a little bit that way. And that should be it. That sounds perfect, right? Okay, great. All right, now the 3rd string is D. And here's where you find D on the piano. And if we hit that note, it should sound like this. Oh, it sounds good. Sounds just like it. So we're okay for that note. Now let's go to the next note, which is G. On the 4th string is G. And here's where you find it on the piano. And let's listen to G. Okay, let's test our guitar. Sounds a little flat to me. Let's hear it again. Now let's try to take our tuning key and turn it to tighten it. And we'll keep playing that note until we hear it right. And now that's it. I tightened it and it went up to the right note. Okay, our 5th string down is B. And here's where we find B on the piano. And here's what it should sound like. We'll find our 5th string and we'll play that. We'll hear the piano. Ooh, it sounds sharp. It sounds too high. So we'll take our tuning key and we'll pull it back. All the way till it sounds correct. And that sounds about right to me. Okay, the 6th string down is the same note as the very 1st string, but it's higher. They're both E's, but this is a high E and this is a low E. So this is the high E on the piano, and this is how it should sound. So we'll test it. Sounds right on. Well, great, guys. That's how we tune our guitar to another instrument. So, great job. Now, the last method is a thing called relative tuning. And there's a diagram on the bottom of your screen which shows how to relative tune your guitar. So, it's kind of a hard process, but we'll go over it and you can practice on your own time and try to figure out how to do this method. So, the first thing you do is you play on the 5th fret. You count up just like I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you press down with your pointer finger on the 5th fret and play the note. And that's what it should sound like. So now you play that first top note and you play the second note. And it should have the same sound. See? Those sound the same. Now, you do the very same thing, but you go down to the next string. On the same 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You play that string, and you play the next string, and they should sound the same. Now, if one of them doesn't sound the same, if this sounded like that, and this sounded like real high, you'd bring it down some. And if it sounded low, you'd bring it up a little bit. Let's try this one. There you go, they're the same. Let's hear if this one sounded out of tune. Let's hear how we would do it. So I find the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put my finger on that string. Ooh, see, that doesn't sound right at all. So what we do, remember that sound, play it a few times, and then we'll follow this string down, figure out it's right here, and turn it all the way up clockwise. So now I think that's pretty close. Let's hear it. See? Sounds good. Now, this is the tricky part. On the 4th string, you're not going to play on the 5th fret. You're going to play on the 4th fret, one behind it. Same thing. See, they sound just alike. Same thing. Now, for the last one, you go back to the 5th fret. So there's only that 1 4th fret on the 4th string. On the 5th string, you go back to the 5th fret. And there you got it. That's the whole thing. That's how to tune your guitar with relative tuning. And it's not always going to sound perfect. And a lot of times you're going to have to tune. You're going to have to turn these knobs. But like we showed you on that one example, it's not too hard. You just kind of play it a couple times and then remember what it sounds like and then play it again. And if it doesn't sound exactly right, turn it a little bit more. Either way, if it sounds a little high, you turn it this way. If it sounds a little low, turn it the other clockwise. And play it again until it sounds good. And when it sounds good, go ahead and move to the next string. So that's tuning, guys. It's a lot to handle. So repeat this chapter a couple times until you pick it up really good. And then we're going to be ready to move on to the next chapter. Well, I think you guys are about ready to learn how to play this thing. Am I right, Mr. Pick?
Oh boy, I'm ready.
Yeah, he's ready. I'm sure you guys are too. Now, up until now, we've only played one note at a time. And now we need to learn how to combine several notes and play them all at one time. Sometimes when we combine notes and play them together, it doesn't sound very good. It kind of sounds yucky. And sometimes when we play notes together, it sounds very pretty. These very pretty ones are called chords, and they're made up of certain special notes that go good together. And these are the ones we're going to learn. We're going to learn some of the most popular chords. And those chords are C, G, and D. And then we're going to learn some songs that you can play with those chords. But first, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's learn how to read what we're going to play today. Now, there's going to be a hand that appears on your screen right about there. And it's kind of a funny hand, isn't it?
Lots of colors.
Yeah, all the fingers have different colors on them. And this is going to help us know where to put our fingers on the fretboard. So, and then also, right there is what your fretboard would look like if you looked at your guitar that you're holding right now. If you look down on your guitar, and you'd see from about here to here. So when you lean over your guitar, this is what your guitar will look like from your eyes. And it'll be the same on the bottom of the screen. And this is going to be the big string all the way down to the little string. And this finger will be blue, this is green, this one's yellow, and this one's orange. So when we learn how to make chords, we need to know which fingers to press on the guitar and where on the guitar. Those are the two most important things we need to know. So, as you can see, a little circle will appear right there on the guitar, and a certain fret and a certain string. And it's going to be a certain color too. As you can see, this one's blue, so we find on our diagram which finger is blue. Which finger is blue, Mr. Pick?
The pointer finger.
That's right. Our pointer finger is blue. So we lean over our guitar and we look at our screen and we see, oh, this one is the string that the blue circle's on. And we count the frets, and it's 1, 2, 3 frets over. And we use, remember, our pointer finger. So we press down on that, and that's the right note. Good job, guys. Let's try this again, and we'll use another color this time. Okay? I'll give you guys a second to look at it and try to figure out which note to play and which finger and what fret. All right, boys and girls, how did you do on that one? Well, let's see if you got the right answers. Now, the circle on the guitar was green, so let's find out what finger green is. It's our middle finger. So we're going to use our middle finger. We need to remember that. Now, we look down at our guitar, and it looks like it's on the second string down. So that's the second string down right there. And we find out what fret it is, and we count over 1, 2. 2 frets on the second string down with our middle finger. And we need to make sure it's the right finger, because when we start playing chords, we're going to use more than one finger on more than one string. So this is the right one, and it should sound like this. So check your sound with that and make sure you got the right one. Good job, guys. Okay, let's try another one. And the more we do this, the better you're going to get. So let's keep working at it. Now, here's the example. And I want you guys to take a few minutes and try to work on it and see if you can get the right note. Okay, guys, how did we do on this one? Are we getting better? I bet we are. Let's check on this one. And this color was what?
I think yellow.
That's right, it was yellow. So we look at our hand diagram and we figure out that yellow is this one, our ring finger. So we need to keep that in mind. And now we look at the string number, bend over our guitar. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's our 4th string. And we go to the side on our 4th string. 1, 2, 3. It's on the 3rd fret. So we put that on we make sure that we keep a big gap so that we don't press on 2 or more strings. We only want to press on 1 string on the tip of our finger. So we put that down on our 4th finger, 4th string, 3rd fret, and that's what it should sound like. Great job. Let's try one more example, and this is it on your screen. Great job, guys. I'm sure we all got the right answers on this one, but let's check to make sure. Now, it's an orange color, which means it is the pinky. The pinky's orange. We'll remember that. Look down at our guitar. We count the strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're on the 6th string, and we come and we count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th fret. We put our pinky on the 4th fret, and that's our note. So that's it. And if you got that, then great job. And if not, you might want to look over this a little bit more before we go on to making a chord. So great job, guys. All right, the first chord we're going to take a look at is called the C chord. And this is what it looks like on your guitar. Do you see the circles and the colors? See, this is just like the practice we just did a second ago, but it has more than one circle. So that's kind of tricky, but just do the same way we did it last time, except when you figure it out, keep your fingers on those circles. And we're going to use all 3 fingers at one time. So take a look at it for just a little bit and try to figure out how to put your fingers on the guitar like that. And we'll get back together and look at the correct way to do it and see if you got it. So give it a try. All right, how did we do on that, guys? Well, it's okay if it was hard, and if you didn't get it, that's no problem, because we're going to go over it right now, and that's what this DVD is for, so you can figure out how to do things like this. So, the very first thing we're going to do is look at our colors and find the one that's lowest on our string. And the one that's all the way down on our strings is the color blue. So we look at our hand and we find out which one is blue. And this is the one. So we use this finger for our very first note. Now when we count down on the strings, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be the string we're going to press. But where are we going to press it? Which fret? We count 1, and this is the 1. This is the fret we'll use. So we remember we use the tip of our finger, just the very tip. We put our thumb on the back of the guitar, and we wrap our finger around and press firmly on the string and the first fret on the tip of our finger. Okay, now we leave that in place and we look at our next finger, which is green. And green is our middle finger. Count strings, 1, 2, 3. This is the 3rd string. And we go over to the back of it and we count 1, 2, and that's it. So it's the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. And we reach over and we make sure that we have our arm straight, and we touch that string right on that fret. So now we've got 2 fingers done. We only have 1 more. You guys are doing great. We look down and we see that the color is yellow. So, which one is our yellow finger, Mr. Pick?
Looks like the ring finger.
That's right, it's the ring finger. And the ring finger is right here. So now, what do? We count down. We count 1, 2. And that's the string we're going to use. And now we go back to the front. We count 1, 2, 3 frets. So it's the 2nd string on the 3rd fret, and we use this finger just like that. Whew, that's tough to do that with your fingers like that. You really got to move your fingers in a way that you don't usually do it. And that's why it can be kind of hard and it can hurt your hand to do it. So if this is hurting your hand, just take a break, and it's going to take a few times. It's actually going to take a lot of times for your hand to get used to doing this. Mine's used to it because I've played it a lot of times. And so it's not a very big deal. But for you, it's going to be kind of hard. And that's okay. So the first thing we do to check if this is right is we strum the guitar and we listen and make sure it sounds good. So let's do that. And that's what a C chord should sound like. How did you guys sound? Great job. Now, if yours kind of sounded a little bit muted and it didn't ring out very clearly, like this, you know, and it kind of rattles like that, then that's okay, but you need to make sure that your fingers are only touching 1 string. And chances are they're kind of pressing down like this, real flat, and not pressing just 1 string. They're pressing multiple strings. And we want to raise those up and really curve our hand to get them around that, and to actually just press 1 string at a time. See, listen to the difference between this, that, and then I raise my fingers up. See, it's a lot clearer. It sounds very much clearer than this. That's really muted. So take a while and practice that chord until you get it to sound real clear. And then we'll learn our next chord, which is G. Now it's time to learn our very next chord, which is the G chord. Now this is what the G chord looks like on our diagram. See, it's a little bit different than our C chord, but it's really fun to play. Now I want you guys to look at this without any other distractions and practice and see if you can get it on your own without me even helping. So take a few minutes and give it a try. Alright guys, how did we do? Now hopefully we did a little bit better maybe than the C chord earlier, because we know how to combine our fingers together to make a chord. But the G chord's a little bit different than the C chord, so it still was probably pretty hard to do. And that's why we'll go over it together. Now the first color that we see at the very bottom of our guitar was orange. And orange, we didn't get to use that with the C chord because it's our pinky. So what we do first is we'll count down our strings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll use the 6th string on the 1, 2, 3 on the 3rd fret. So let's put our pinky there and hold it there. And that's our very first finger. So we'll keep it there. And now we'll look at our second color down, which is blue. So we'll count down 1, 2. So it's on the 2nd string, and we'll slide over and we'll count 1, 2. So it's on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. And we'll put our pointer finger on that certain spot. Great, now we've got 2 fingers down, 1 finger to go. Now this one's an easy one. It is green, which is our middle finger. So we'll count 1. It's on the 1st string. We'll slide it over. We'll count 1, 2, 3 on the 3rd fret. So 1st string, 3rd fret, our middle finger. And that's our G chord. Let's listen to that when we play it. See, that's a nice chord. Okay, same thing for this. If you heard a certain something like that, if it's dulled or it's muted and it doesn't sound like a full chord like that, then chances are you're kind of pressing on some other notes, some other strings, and it's muting it a little bit. So what we want to do is remember to wrap our hand around like this and curve our fingers so we're just touching the strings on the tips of our fingers. Then we should be good, and it should be nice and clear. So a good way to check is to play each individual note and make sure it sounds clear. See, those are all clear. And that's clear. And that's clear. Ooh. See, that's not clear at all. So I have to figure out what's going on. And it looks like I'm not pressing down hard enough with my pinky. So I'll press down harder. And it's clearer. So if I heard something like this on the strings that I'm not even pressing, then that means that my other fingers are pressing it, and I need to curve them and make sure they're not being touched at all. See? Now they're clear. So let's practice that for a little while on your own and make sure we can make the G chord again. Take your hands off the guitar and then look at the colors and put them on and make sure you can make that chord again. Good job. All right, are you guys ready to look at the very last chord that we're going to look at today? Well, I'm ready. I think you guys are too. You guys have been practicing and doing a great job. So let's look at the D chord, and this is what it looks like. Now take a minute, just like we've been doing, to study it and make sure you have the right fingers, the right strings, and the right frets. And put it on the guitar and put your fingers like you think you need to put them, and then see if you got the chord right. And I'll meet back with you in just a minute. All right, how did we do, guys? Well, let's check our answers and see if we got the right chord. Now, the first note that we're going to look at is we look over our guitar and we find the green circle, and we look at our hand, and the green is our middle finger. So now we count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We slide it over, we count 1, 2, and we put our middle finger on 2. That's the first one. Now we look at the chart and we see the next color is yellow. So we'll look at our hand and we find that yellow is our ring finger. And we count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And slide it over. 1, 2, 3. And we put our ring finger right there. So now that's 2 fingers and only 1 to go. And now let's look at our chart once again. We'll see that the blue circle is our last one. And blue is our pointer finger. So now we'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll slide it over. 1, 2. Second fret. So 4th string, 2nd fret is our pointer finger. So we're only using the last 3 strings on our guitar. Make sure that we're only touching 1 string on each finger and that our fingers are curved and we're only touching it on the tops of our fingers. Now let's hear what it sounds like. Doesn't that sound neat? That's our D chord. So check, and if it's muted, again, we'll try every string. That sounds clear. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. So we'll push down a little harder on our string. And it sounds good now. Great, guys. That's a great job. And those are all of our chords we're going to learn. The G, the D, and the C. So now we know 3 chords that make up a lot of songs that we know. In our next chapter, we're going to try to play some of those songs. So I can't wait. I'm excited. And I'll see you guys in the next chapter. Well, I'm glad we made it to the very last chapter of the DVD, which is learning how to play songs, the funnest part. Now, today we're going to learn how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, Old MacDonald, and Jesus Loves Me. So it ought to be really fun. So let's take a look at the first song, which is Mary Had a Little Lamb, and the chords are going to appear on your screen. And we'll go over how to play those chords again, but you guys should have practiced up enough on the last chapters to know kind of how to make those chords. And they're only going to be the chords that we looked at in the last chapter. So we should be pros at it, and we should be able to do it pretty well. The hard part is going to be changing chords. We know how to make a chord just by putting the right fingers on the right frets to make the chord. But in this chapter, when we play a song, it involves switching a chord back and forth. So we're going to go over it slow, and we're going to learn how and what's the best way to switch chords. And it's going to be real slow at first, and it won't hardly sound like a song at first. But when we learn how to switch and we get our finger placements right, and we can go quick in between chords, then it'll sound like a real song. So let's take it slow and work on Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now as you see, it's on your screen, and the first chord you play is right up there. And so it's going to be G. And we all remember how to play G. So let's get our fingers ready to play G. We have the pinky is on the bottom 3rd fret. The pointer finger is right there on the 2nd fret, the 2nd string down, and the middle finger is on the 1st string, the 3rd fret. We all remember that chord. So let's play that, make sure that it sounds clear. There we go. Great. And that's how it starts out, Mary Had a Little Lamb. So the next chord we're going to have to know for this song is D. So let's try to keep our position on the G and move into the D. And the best way to do this is when you move chords, you want to lift your fingers up off the strings, and then you want to try to put them in the position of a D chord before you actually even touch the strings. And you want to touch them all at one time, not putting one finger down and then another finger and then another finger. Although we have to do that at first, we want to get to where we can get our fingers in the position of a D chord, which mine are like that, and then put them all down at once. So get it all ready and put it all down at once. So try to do that. Try to get your fingers in a position where your middle finger is going to touch the 2nd fret, bottom string. Your ring finger is going to touch the 3rd fret, the 2nd to bottom string, and the pointer finger will touch the 4th string on the 2nd fret. And then lift up and put it back down and see if you can get it at the same place. And make sure you're touching all the right notes. And play it and make sure that it sounds clear and you're not pushing more than one note at once. Okay, that sounds good. So let's go back to the G and see if we can switch to the D a little bit faster this time. So we'll go back, we'll get our G ready. Get all your fingers ready. And we'll play. There's our G. Okay, now let's switch to the D as quick as we can. We get our fingers in the D position, right over where it should go, and we put it down, and we got the D. How did you guys do? Well, hopefully we'll get faster and faster as we go. So, now how do you play the song? That's what we're all asking ourselves, so let's try it. We'll start out with our G chord. Everybody get your G chords ready. We got the G. So it starts out. Mary had a little lamb. And what comes next? What do you think? It's the D. So we get our D ready. And we're just going to strum easy just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little lamb. Where do you think we go? We go back to the G. Get our G ready. Little lamb, Mary had a little lamb. Now we go D. Whose fleece was white as, go back to the G, snow.
I did good on that one.
You did good? Great, Mr. Pick. Well, how did you guys do? That was probably tough and that was probably fast. And just take it as slow as you want and go through that. And as you see, over the words, the chords are sitting there, and just practice it on your own a few times, and we'll let you practice right now. Okay, hopefully you've taken some time and practiced the song. Let's go over it one more time, just a little bit faster, and see if you can catch up and hang with me when I play it. Alright, you can even sing with me too. That would be great. So, it goes like this. We get our G's ready, and we can even start. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, whose fleece was white as snow. Second verse. Everyone Great job, guys. Now, just keep playing that over and over. You can't do anything but get better. So, excellent job. Now, it's time for our second song. And hopefully you guys are ready for this and you practiced up on the first song. So, we should be good on the second song. And this is one of my favorite songs because you can add as much as you want and you can keep going for as long as you want. And it's Old MacDonald. And it's one of my favorite songs because you can add different parts to it. And you can keep playing and playing as long as you want, as long as you can think of different animals to use. So, let's get started. Hopefully, we practiced up on the first song a lot so that we're getting a little better because this one has one more chord in it than the last one. Let's all remember what the C chord is, and it is your first finger on the second string to the bottom, first fret, your middle finger on the third string down, second fret, and your ring finger on the second string down, third fret. It should sound like this. All right. So, the first chord in Old MacDonald is exactly like the first chord in Mary Had a Little Lamb, which was G. Everybody get your G's out. Okay, so now on your screen you'll see the words to Old MacDonald and the chords you'll play over top of them, and we'll go through it really, really slow. So here we go. Let's start out with G. G, Old MacDonald. Now we're going to switch to the C, remember? So we lift up and we try to get our fingers in the right position over top of the strings. We'll look down and we'll press down and we'll make sure we're on the right strings. Now we're switching again back to the G. We'll get it ready. Farm. E-I. Now go back to the D. Get it ready. E-I. Now go back to the G. O. How'd you do? Now it repeats like that for almost the whole song. So as long as we can figure that part out, we're good for the whole song. Let's try it one more time, just a little bit faster. See how we do. G. Old MacDonald. C. Had a farm. G. E-I. D. E-I. G. O. Second verse. G. And on that farm he. C. Get ready. Had some chicks. E-I. E-I-D. G-O. That one's tough. There's a lot of switching around in that one. So what I want you to do is look at it. All you'll see on your screen is the chords and the lyrics to the song. And as soon as you see the chord over the word, that's when you switch. So let's take some time, take as long as you want, and pause your DVD and play this song and see how you do. And then we'll meet back and we'll play it a little bit faster and we'll see if we can sing and play along with it. So you guys are doing great. Just give this a lot of practice, and it's okay if it's hard because it's hard, but you'll get better. So let's take a look and try it, practice it, and we'll meet back. Okay, boys and girls, are you ready to play some Old MacDonald? Well, I've got a bunch of animals just waiting to be played. It's going to be good to remember the way we move chords just like that, because a lot of the song follows that same pattern until we get to the part of the song where it's G for a long way through and it's really easy. But then we'll go back to the pattern. So let's get that pattern right and practice that. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some ducks, E-I-E-I-O. With a quack quack here and a quack quack there, here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a crack quack. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. All right, great. Let's try another one. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a cat, E-I-E-I-O. With a meow meow here and a meow meow there, here a meow, there a meow, everywhere a meow meow. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. All right, guys, great playing. Now, I want you to practice that and repeat it as many times as you can. And every time, just be creative and think of as many animals as you can put in the song. And that way, you'll never stop. You'll just keep playing it and just getting real good. So that was our second song. And now this is the last song that we're going to go over together. But there will be more songs in the front of the DVD that you can play by yourself and learn how to play. So this song is called Jesus Loves Me. And let's take a look at it. Okay, guys, did you see the chords we're going to use? We're going to use all the ones we've learned. So let's take a look and we'll see that the first chord is G again. So we'll get our G's ready and make sure that it's clear. Now, let's start. It starts out, Jesus loves me, this I know. We'll switch. For the Bible, now back to G, tells me so. G again, little ones to him belong. Switch back to C, they are weak. G, but D, he is G, strong. That was a tough change right there. Let's try that one more time, that change. They are G, weak, but D, he is G, strong. One more time. C, they are weak, but he is strong. Okay, the next part, stay on G. Yes, Jesus loves me. G, yes, Jesus. D, loves me. Back to G. Yes, Jesus loves me. The G Bible. G, D tells me. Back to G. So, okay. That was kind of tough. It was a tough one. A lot of switching around. But Let's look at it one more time and practice it, and we'll get together and play it even faster. All right, how are we feeling? Let's try it. Let's see how good you guys did. And this time, I'm not going to say the chords. I'm just going to sing and play along with you guys. So let's go. We'll take it pretty slow, but we'll play the whole thing through. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Well, great job, boys and girls. That's excellent, excellent work. And I'm very proud of you. We didn't know very much about the guitar at first, but now we're playing songs together. And I just want you to keep practicing and practicing, and you'll get better and better and better. So I wish you guys the best of luck.